don't see my or hear my beats. So here we go. Hello, everyone. Will go live in 5 seconds. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Don't talk radio. All right, Talk Blog is coming in, and my music is down because we are going to do a short show today. Warren, I got my man Warren Green with me. Greet the people, Warren.
Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's high and dry.
Well, you know what, Warren? Okay, I don't like that. I'm trying to get this bright light out my eye, but that's a little dark. But you know what? I think that's okay. Can you see me okay?
I can, yes.
Okay. So we are live and we're excited. We are going to just discuss a few things and thank some people who supported us. And I see the show is not on Facebook. We're waiting. Okay. We're waiting for Facebook to catch up, but nevertheless, we are live. I don't know why it's not showing. So, Warren, I am going to give you the opportunity. We're going to talk about a few things, but the first thing I wanted to talk about is the boost. We have a lot of people that are just adamant about not getting the boost. But hold on, I'm sorry. This is IITG Season Sister Speak. I'm your host, Victorianne Russell Walton. I got my man Warren Green with me, who always supports me. Warren, say hi to the people.
Hi, people. Hope everybody is dry and healthy and eating right.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we're going to thank some people as stated, and then we are going to there we are. We are going to talk about a few things. Let me close this down. Then we're going to, there we are. Yeah, because there's a double backing. So, hi, everybody that's tuning in. Hello, everyone who's going to share later. Thank you, everyone, for looking on all our social medias. So, Warren, we're going to talk about a few things. And again, I've mentioned the boost and immunization because I think it's very important. I know my son's school just told us that they are going to do virtual learning. And then they will let us know in a week what's going on because the numbers have climbed back up, especially for children, to a point where it's uncontrollable. So let's talk about the boost, Warren. People are saying I'm not getting it. The ingredients in it is horrific. I don't trust anybody. I definitely don't trust Fauci. And to me, I say, you know what? The food you eat is more disgusting than what's in this shot. And this shot is not going to protect you against everything, but it is going to give your immune system a base and a foundation to fight with. What do you say, Warren?
Well, I think when you look at it from different perspectives, I grew up in a day where I remember vividly, and I grew up in New York, and I remember when drug addicts used to go to try to find the drugs that were known for killing people. And they would actually, I think Whoopi Goldberg made a movie about it, and they actually lined up to go. And then I thought about how on cigarette packages, they tell you some of the problems, some of the diseases it's gonna form. And people did it anyway. So to me, this is more or less, you have this whole element of society that's going to do this regardless.
Yeah.
They're not ignorant. They know. I mean, you tell them over and over, well, you need this boost, you need this vaccine and so forth and so on. They are aware and they're still not doing it. And I think it's a good part of the country that's happening. So I think that's what it is. I just don't think that there's no other way. They offered money. We'll give you a bonus if you come in. We'll do whatever you have to do. And there's people that are adamant and not going to do it. And that's where it is.
You know, that's the sad part for me because I've heard Tuskegee, I've heard about all of that stuff, but we're living in a different day and time now. And the sad part about it is, everybody by now has someone in their circle that has died of not just COVID, but issues, um, complications that stream from COVID. If you have a compromised immune system, chances are you'll probably get COVID, the Delta, and as someone called it, Omarion. So, there's a chance you're going to get it because of your compromised immune system. And that's what people say. Well, I know people that got all of the shots and the boost, and they still died of COVID. They didn't die of COVID, they died of complications. So let's get it right. It's just like the flu shot. The flu shot doesn't really protect you against the flu this year, because we don't know everything that's the virus with this year's flu. So what it is again is a foundation, right, Warren, that gives you something to fight with. It upsets me when I hear people say, I'm not going to do it, my family's not going to do it, but people that have died, and and let's back this up too, Warren. We're not here to stay. This ain't where we live. We're only here when everybody that is born is guaranteed a death date. Everybody. So whatever that death date is, you have one. All right. But when you want to protect yourself and be here as long as you can possibly be here by giving yourself a strong immune system and something to fight with.
Well, yeah, but everybody probably doesn't look at it that way.
Yeah.
They if they're not having the most a successful life, if life is not all that good, then maybe they're not concerned when their demise will be.
Well, my
I mean, I
understanding.
have to think that way for smokers.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's a mind blowing for me because I know people who um would go and get their chemotherapy and come out and light a cigarette up, and it used to just, I would tell them, you're taking the place of somebody who really wants to be here. So why would you come get the chemotherapy and then go outside and light a cigarette? I mean, that makes no sense. You should just stay home and give someone else the opportunity to be here to save their lives. Because to me, I had one woman tell me, I just can't help it. But that's the thing that's killing you. The cigarette is killing you. You realize that. That's where the cancer came from, your cigarette. And after 4.5 hours of chemotherapy, you come out here and light a cigarette. It blows my mind, Warren.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact is that they smoked before the fact. So
Yeah.
the fact if they smoked before, then they've already resigned themselves to knowing. To me, because it says it on the package, it actually tells you on the package that
Yeah.
if you that this is a dangerous material to be putting in your body, and they do it anyway.
They do it anyway.
So therefore, they're not concerned with the after effects, or they're not concerned. They can't be concerned.
I'm looking at everybody that's tuned in, and it's funny because we've got questions already. Um, a couple of the comments. I mean, it is, and I'm just going to repeat a few. So it is everyone's choice as to what you get. And no, Warren and I are not gullible. Warren is very knowledgeable. When I don't know everything, I bring people around me with receipts, and it is your choice. But let me tell you something that was stated yesterday, whether you believe the news or whatever. I think they said 45% of those in the hospital that are filling up the beds, which are now at 90% filled, are those that have not been vaccinated.
I know that's true because I had to be treated in the hallway. I had to go to the emergency room. I have a fractured vertebrae in my back,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed something for pain. I had to be treated in the hallway.
Yeah.
In Virginia Beach General.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the hallway. And there were plenty of people in the hallway. So there were no beds.
No.
And that's
we
what
took
happened.
David to the children's hospital last month, and the line was out of the hospital door with babies and children. And the man told us, we have to show you how to, David has asthma. We have to show you how to do this because there's no bed. He said, I couldn't even put you in a closet if I wanted to.
Yeah,
There's no room on any floor. They are over 100% capacity.
So the choices are you either evict the people who are there for COVID and say, well, because you didn't get your COVID shot, we're going to remove you so we can take care of these other folks, or not.
Wouldn't that be something if they did that? If they said, do you have your vaccine? No, go home. Or no,
Well,
we can't treat
and they're
you
not going
because
to
you're
do
not
that. So
vaccinated.
that's the conundrum that there is, and what could be done about it? I don't know.
You know what? We're fighting so many different wars, and there's so much going on. Like I watch the news, and I try not to watch it every day, all day. But did you know there's an outbreak of snakes in Florida? There's an outbreak. I believe it's pythons and rattlers.
Well,
They're everywhere, and they're overwhelmed.
That's been when they first escaped from this zoologist down there.
Yeah.
And they've been multiplying because they have no natural enemies down there. So
they don't have any natural enemies. So they are taking over.
And that's Florida. The same principle in nature. That's the same principle with viruses, the same principle.
That's what I was going to say. This virus doesn't have an enemy. It's nothing. There's nothing that they have created that can eat this thing or beat this thing or dry this thing out yet.
Well, it mutates, and there's trillions of viruses. Trillions of viruses.
Right.
There's more viruses than there are grains of sand. Mm-hmm. So
that's the thing, Warren. People don't understand that we're fighting more than just this virus. If there was a way that scientists could spray something in the air to show people exactly what we're fighting every time we walk out that door, the pollution that's just let's just say in the air. We're not even going to talk about what you're walking on and bringing into your home and what attacks onto your clothes. Just if they could show us for a few seconds what's in the air, I think we would all be shocked.
Well, I don't know that would even matter. I don't think some people are resigned to the fact that maybe they don't have a defense.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that is true. I know that I hear anxiety when I speak with people, and I hear some that have kind of given up on fighting. I'm not. I'm a fighter, that have just said whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And then we have those that say, whatever God is going to allow happen, he's going to allow it to happen. And that's true. I have a very strong biblical background. However, God gives us common sense. And he also gives us what we need to fight in our daily fight. So someone said, well, God is allowing this, so we need to just let all of these things happen. God is allowing certain things to happen, and then there are certain things we need to be in control of, right? So eating is one thing. And Warren and I are big on what you put in your body, because what you put in your body gives you what you need to fight. You can't call me and say, Vicki, I have high blood pressure, and we have a conversation. How much do you weigh? 325. Well, give me your daily food schedule. Well, I fried some bacon this morning with some eggs and sausage. Well, did you exercise? No. What'd you have for lunch? Oh, I had 2 hamburgers and French fries and a big Diet Coke. Well, diet is wrong. 2 hamburgers is not what you need. Well, it had lettuce on it. That is not a salad, Warren. Well, what'd you have for dinner? I fried some chicken, and I had potatoes with gravy. And I said, well, where's your vegetable? Okay. You could have had a salad for one of those. So what you put in your body gives you what you need to fight. If you're putting junk in your body, then you're a junk walker. Let's just say that. Your body is filled with junk, cholesterol, grease, oil, all of those things that your body doesn't need and doesn't have anything to fight with. Right, Warren?
Yeah, but you can't you can't bring up religion, because God created the viruses also. So,
right.
So I mean, it's not what makes humans more whatever than a virus that wants to live also. So how you manage your life and what you do. I'm currently looking reading this. This is an incredible book. I don't know if everybody can see it. It's called Eat to Beat Disease.
Oh, I like that.
It's by
Eat to
Dr.
Beat.
William Lee. This is
Dr. William
fascinating.
Lee.
Yeah. And it's fascinating because it talks about the defense system, the body's defense systems.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does, it talks about antigens, it talks about how the body defends itself against disease, and what
Okay.
the mechanisms are.
Mm-hmm.
But everything depends upon what you put in your body
Right.
in order for your body to be able to fight
Mm-hmm.
whatever, be it bacteria, viruses, mold, all these things. But I mean, mold, if there was an outbreak of moles, it would be just as bad as this virus.
Right.
But people don't seem to be concerned about mold. And probably you can go to 9 out of 10 residences and find mold someplace. Well, if you read that, it's the same kind of thing. You're going to have all kind of medical issues if you breathe in mold or asbestos or these synthetic substances that they use to build houses. It's all over the place. And we don't try to do anything to try to change it.
I think we get stuck on one thing. Right. I think we get stuck on one thing and we focus on that instead of looking at the big picture, because they're like you just said, there's problems all over the world with different things. Mold in the house, the food. We've talked about what's in the food. We've talked about everything across the board, and there's a lot that we're dealing with right now. But there's so much we can do to combat it. We can, like you talked about mold. You can find out if there's mold in your house. You can clean your house. You can find a better diet for your body, and you can eat that. Well, I won't say diet, better healthy lifestyle. Not because we don't believe in diets. I love the book you just introduced, Eat to Beat Disease by Dr. William Lee. I've never heard of that book, but I'll definitely check that book out.
It's a great book. He has, if you go to YouTube, you can see some of his work. Really, really fascinating. I'm just hearing about it.
Okay.
And I started researching it, particularly when I had my back thing, what's happening here and why that happened. What I have is it's a compression burst. In other words, it fractured in multiple places vertically. So why would I ask? Well, why? Because every time I go to the doctor, if I have to go to the doctor for anything, I ask them, well, why did it happen? What is the cause? I'm a cause and effect person. What is it happening? So because I want to know how I can prevent it from happening again. Well, it says as you age, but because I take medications, particularly estrogen, because I take Luprin, which is an estrogen, which reduces testosterone, and we know that testosterone feeds on cancer cells feed on testosterone. Prostate cancer cells feed on testosterone. So they want to reduce the testosterone. How they do that is to provide estrogen so that, and try to stop. It's called chemical castration, actually.
Wow.
But the point is that it actually thins your bones. Well, I knew that I should have supplemented more calcium, more everything, because if you thin your bone, your spine is weight bearing, and that's what happened. So I know exactly what happened. I know, in fact, I can figure out the circumstances of all of my distress. So I'm able to tell the doctor what he needs to know to treat it.
Okay. I'm sorry, we were getting some questions in from Twitter. I didn't forget about you, Twitter. I'm paying attention to it. I'm sorry. I had to type up there. And hi, everybody. Let me give my shout outs to Joan is always a great supporter. Tammy, hello. Harold Rogers, hi, Harold. Tamika, LaDonna, hi, everybody. Crystal, shout out to YouTube, shout out to Twitter, shout out to IG, shout out to all our social media, Warren. They're all listening. We're looking for your questions, and we're just capping over what we went through. But while we're shouting out, let me shout out the following: AmeriHealth Caritas for being a great sponsor, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Fannie Lou Hamer Cancer Foundation, Dr. Freddie Johnson, Umar Bowe, and the community over in Washington, D.C., Chester Benton with WYZB Christian Broadcast Network. Also, Virginia Beach Breast Cancer Foundation, Centerly with Miss Dukes, and always Warren Green. And we want to shout out Garla Green for allowing Warren to come on and for me to always call and bother him and allow him to actually let me pick his brain about so much. And shout out to my husband, Harvey Walton, and my son, David, for allowing me the opportunity to get on here to be before you to answer questions. And a big announcement: Warren and IITG Season Sisters Speak is being picked up by a radio station and by another news channel. So bigger and bigger things are happening with this. So say a prayer as we transition over to bring you great content, and also talk more about breast cancer and cancer disparities in our community. Because as we talk about the viruses, cancer is one of those things that's near and dear to my heart. And we're understanding that, again, our numbers have tripled. So there's a lot to be done in the community. And we're excited for those opportunities. We're also going mobile with our pinky parties. So if you want to book a pinky party outside, we are coming with a pink tent, podium, disco balls, balloons, outfit. We're on our way with our virtual and our pinky parties. So if you want to book us, come on and book us now. And we're excited about that. We cannot wait, but it is outdoors. We're not going indoors under the tent, as long as weather permits. And even if you're having the Mama van there, book the pinky party to come alongside the mammogram to hype your party up. We're excited about the opportunities, and we can't wait. And we do travel, so don't worry about us traveling. Book your party today, and let us know how we can come to a town near you. So back to what we're going to discuss. We've discussed the booster. We've discussed you are what you eat. Warren, I want you to talk to them about farming. And I know you're like, Vicki, what does farming have to do with anything? Look, if you go to the grocery store's shelves, you're starting to notice they're a little light sugar. And you can grow fruits and vegetables all year long. Warren and I have talked about this. You are able to grow potatoes and cucumbers and tomatoes and the peppers in your backyard. If you've got dirt, you have a farm. Talk to him, Warren.
I think it's way bigger than that. I believe the country started declining in its gross national products and everything else with the decline of the black farmer. After World War II, 7 out of 10 farmers were black. Now I think it's 1 in 1,000 or something, and maybe even less than that. So we're not growing food. In fact, America itself is importing more than we grow. We no longer are farming. They went from sustainable farming to industrial farming. So you got these big industrial farms that are taking up all the land to grow things like soy and cotton for export, which means that they're not growing locally. So everything that most of what we consume is imported.
Yeah.
I don't know that their requirements are as stringent as ours were. I'm going to say were, because I don't think they're very stringent now. I think a lot of things have happened since I was an inspector. I was an inspector with the New York State Department of Agriculture and the USDA. The requirements that we had then, I used to go to importing countries to look at their operation to make sure that they were doing it at least equal to what we would do. I don't think that's, I know that it's required, but when they brought along programs of these companies self-inspecting and so forth and so on, well, that was the problem when they first developed the USDA and inspection. They have a book. If you watch some reading, and it's very good. It's by Upton Sinclair. It's called The Jungle, and it talks about the food industry around World War One, and it's absolutely horrible. And what you're reading in it is just unbelievable. And to think that these American manufacturers would actually make food under these filthy conditions to give to the soldiers that are fighting out there. But I think chemically it's just as bad today, because some of the same things are happening now, right now as we speak. We're getting arsenic in poultry, for instance, instead of the government being a little more stringent on what kind of substances are going into the feed. They can let somebody justify, we're going to use arsenic in the feed to kill parasites in chicken, and that's up to 90%. Well, those who don't do it probably are not gonna lose their market share. So they all do it now, and that's what it is. But I always suggested, or even required when I was in the industry, that at least label it, let the consumer have a choice to see whether what's in their food, so they can tell you that it doesn't have antibiotics. Well, okay. Or when you look at some of them, so they'll have big banners, no antibiotics, but they're not telling you what's in the product.
But that's what I find hard to understand sometimes, because they have labels, but not everything is labeled, and it's kind of tricky, because because you see no sugar. I tell people all the time, just because it says no sugar, there's some type of sweetener in there.
Sure.
You just have to read the code words like fructose, and anything with a cose in there, there's a sugar. So it's kind of tricky, right?
Oh yeah, well it's always, and that's what they do. So they, like glyphosate. Glyphosate used to be it was something that plumbers used to clean drains and stuff. They found out that it was a good pesticide, so they started using it in our foods to kill. So, but glyphosate, and I'm not going to identify the administration, but they actually raised the residual levels so they could add more when they know that it was detrimental to minorities and farm workers. They know it's detrimental, but their contention is for the better good.
And the bottom line, do you think America is running out of food?
Well, we already have, if we have to import.
Okay.
And we even import from China. We're talking about boycotting China, and yet and still we import food from them. So if we boycotted them and they boycotted us, what do we do then?
I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm going down to North Carolina. I'm going to place my order with my family who has farms, because I believe that's what we should be doing anyway. Anybody with a farm, you should be supporting them. I love the farm to table restaurants up here. I think it's awesome. You can tell the food is fresh. But hold on, pause for a second. Let's say goodbye to our listeners on Radio Talk Blog, IITG Season Sisters Speak with Victorianne, Russell Walton, and Warren Jean. Thanking you, everyone, for listening to us for 2021. Bigger and better things to happen in 2022. We're excited about all opportunities. Please reach out to us at 301-683-8690. Again, that's 301-683-8690. We thank you again for our sponsorships, for all of you who listen and support us. And if you need us, we're just a phone call away. You know how to get in contact with Warren. He's always on Facebook. You can inbox him. But if not, you can always let me know, and I will definitely share that information with Warren Green because I think he's awesome. So thank you. Happy New Year. Be safe, be whole, be kind, and be healthy. And if you find it in your heart, go stand in the line and get your booster shot. Completely up to you. So just do what you think is best for yourself. And again, thank you for all of your support. So this is Victorianne Russell Walton with Warren Green. Thanking everyone on the social media on our call in to have a great day. And we wish you health. I know, isn't that something? Instead of saying Happy New Year and just ending it, now we have to say we wish you a healthy 2022. May all your dreams come true and wear your mask. All right, let's go back to our regular talk show. We had to say goodbye to our top blog. Well, not say goodbye, but just let them know we're listening to them as well. Again, I'm Victorianne Russell Walton, IITG Season Sister Speak, along with Warren Green. And we're just recapping over our year and just seeing how everyone is doing and trying to give you something that you need for 2022. Warren, what is your wish, your hope, your prayer for 2022?
I hope that anybody within listening begin to really start looking at agriculture as something that they might want to support. Like you mentioned earlier, consumer support, like farmers, and maybe, well, they have programs actually out of the Department of Agriculture called Consumer Supported Agriculture. In other words, the farmer sets up his what he's going, how he's going to farm for the next year, and his customers support that up front. So when he grows, he'll send them some of the products of what he's grown. And I think that's a wonderful idea, and that's a way to get food, and it's going to be yours. You actually paid for it in advance. And you take some of the risk away from the farmers, of course, because the farmers are in a situation where if they have if the weather gets bad or floods or so forth and so on, and they can't grow, then we can't eat. Well, that's true all over, and that's true for everything. As opposed to importing, where you have no idea how this food was produced, how it was handled. But it's a frightening situation. But that's what I'm suggesting, that absolutely support your local agriculture, support your farmers. Some of the best farmers on earth have always been for the Black farmer, for instance.
Yeah.
George Washington Carver was a Black farmer. They call him a horticulturist. Of course, he was a farmer. We were the best. How is it possible that the Black farmer would be out of the whole the food chain, the whole delivery system? We're completely removed from it, like blacklisted from it. We can't even get in. It's amazing. We're not in that industry at all.
It is amazing. And it's again, if you have dirt, you have a farm, and there's lots of grants out there. I just found out there's a program that sends you free trees to plant trees. And they're beautiful trees. I have requested some pine trees for my area. But there's so many different programs to educate you about growing and how to grow. I know we do a little small class. Kyle Williams has a class, I believe now, of teaching you how to grow a garden and how to and make money while you're doing it. And you've met Kyle before, a strong brother in the community. I love what he's doing. But there's lots of things we can do to combat the food shortage. And again, grow our own. Potatoes are the easiest thing to grow. You cut them in four, you put them in the ground, unless you have moles and squirrels. Now, let me tell you something, Warren. I've been at war with these squirrels now for 4 years, and they're winning. I put the potatoes in the ground, the moles ate them. If I put something above the ground, the squirrels get to them. So I am coming up with a way that the squirrels and I will live friendly and happily ever after. I've got a plan, but if not, I bought a pellet gun because I'm tired. So one way or another, I'm having a garden next year. and they're gonna leave my flowers alone, especially my tulips. I planted something on the side just for them, and they still won't leave my tulips alone. I don't mind the rabbits because the rabbits and the deers are beautiful, but I just need them to leave my stuff alone, Warren. I've had enough. So I'm trying to do my part. Trying to do my part. Someone told me to go to the zoo and get some lion dung and put the lion dung around, and that will get rid of the animals. But I said, well, what about the lion dung smell? What is that? How would I even? How would I even bring that back to my house and put it my in my backyard? I never
These
thought about
animals,
lion
they
dung.
wouldn't know what that smell is. They've never encountered a lion.
Let me tell you something. We had all kind of crazy ideas about how to combat that problem, but the lion dung was the best one I've ever heard. So that was just so funny to me. But I agree with you. Going, building a garden and creating a garden and getting yourself ready. I was shown how to build like a crate over my garden that is built with chicken wire, and it's like a frame to keep the animals out, but to also allow the garden to have sunlight and rain and all the natural things, but to build it with chicken wire. So I'm excited about trying that next year, but I'm wondering if the moles come back, if they will just go under it and get to it as well. So I'm going to try this, Warren. Anybody else have any ideas? Let me know. I can't wait to hear your ideas because I'm excited. I've got the gazebos, but they got into that last year. Hot sauce doesn't work. Chili peppers don't work. Cayenne pepper doesn't work. That ghost chili didn't work. I think they like it spicy. So I've tried a few things, Warren, and nothing has worked to combat these squirrels yet. But I'm keeping hope. I'm like Jesse. I'm keeping hope alive. So we're gonna see what happens, Warren. So Warren, look, we are we're not going to be on too much longer. So why don't you tell the people whatever you want to tell them, going into 2022, what we need to do. We've recapped over some stuff. So tell the people whatever you want to tell them.
Well, we need to start concentrating on food, really
Mhm.
seriously concentrating on
Mhm.
food. Because food is critical. I mean, substance is critical. I
Yeah.
think that these government agencies understand who's most affected by the disease, by viruses, what demographics are most affected, and we wind up being on the short end of all of that stuff, particularly African American. We really have to start thinking of, well, why don't we have leverage? Why, 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 why is it that we are the last on the bottom of the rung for services and so forth and so on? And then I think we should start understanding that we don't have any leverage. There's no reason for them to give us priorities over anything. So what I'm suggesting is that we need to get into some agriculture and get into niche growing where we grow the green peppers, corner the market on green peppers, for instance, period.
Mm-hmm.
Where if we don't get our demands, we're not going to grow any green peppers or cabbage or turnip, whatever it is. But we have to have some way to have leverage, and we don't have any at the time. We've kind
Mm-hmm.
of farmed them away. Even our education is going away, where they did things like, well, we'll take these people from this neighborhood and bust them to another neighborhood, maybe
Mm-hmm.
bust them from a school that was predominantly black to a multicultural school 2 hours away. So they're missing all of that education while they're riding on a bus. And, where where they don't where we're not and most of all they're losing their culture because they're not going to be taught anything that's going to benefit them culturally. That was my contention with that, the busing law, with the civil rights bill, the whole kind of thing. We have to really take a good look at what's happening here. How did we get into this situation, and how can we improve our circumstance?
Yeah. Yeah. I Okay, so someone asked the same question. Four people asked the same question. Their knees are giving them a hard time. How do you build the cartilage back in your knees, or what can I do for bone structure? What do you think, Warren?
Well, I'm a big supplement person, so
Okay.
I do a lot of supplementing. So I would say that you would want some calcium, of course, calcium, magnesium, zinc.
Right.
I don't think, particularly if you take if you listen to me, I will try to influence you away from dairy. Well, if you're not doing dairy, because that's the primary source of most calcium, you
Mm-hmm.
and sun, of course, you're going to have to do something else. Period.
Yeah.
So I suggest that you supplement
Okay.
potassium. 50% of, say, African Americans are probably hypertensive. Well, if
Okay.
all the medications that you take for being hypertension
Mm-hmm.
requires some sort of diuretic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you get a diuretic, it's taking more than water out of your body. It's taking potassium or electrolytes out of your body. It's doing a
Right.
whole lot of things. You have to put that back. So find out what's happening. Read the side effects and everything else. Find out if you're putting a substance, anything in your body. Try to get as much information as you can about what you're putting in your body so that
Yeah.
you can so that you don't harm yourself by trying to make yourself better.
Okay. What do you think about collagen?
Well, collagen is produced naturally. So if your diet is, if everything is right by you, you're gonna naturally produce it. Your body's gonna naturally repair itself. The whole thing, like it, and that will be in that Eat to Beat Disease book. I haven't read it all. Well, they started
Okay.
talking about that early. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what you want to do. Your bodies consist of systems or dietary, circulatory, nervous system. All of this has to be fed.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't want to put substances in your body that defeats your body,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
antibiotics. Antibiotics is probably the worst possible thing you can put in your body. It's
Wow.
anti-life.
Right. Right.
So people go to
Yeah.
the doctor for a cold. I want antibiotics. Well, anything you tell your doctor now, they'll probably say okay. But you don't want the last thing you want in your body is antibiotics,
Wow.
unless it's the last. It should be the last result as opposed to
Right.
the,
Right.
the first.
So, are you against taking collagen or?
I'm more I'm more for trying to make your body function properly.
Okay.
I said earlier that I'm a big proponent of the Mediterranean diet.
Mm-hmm.
Right
Yeah.
now, I'm into that now.
Yeah.
I'll begin my whole optimizing system beginning the 1st of January, and I'll do it for a month or two or three. And that's where I try to do as
Okay.
I try to make my diet as correct as possible. To add a substance like collagen, I don't know whether it'll do any harm. I know it's probably not gonna. Your body's not gonna recognize it as something that
Mm.
your body's gonna probably defeat the purpose.
Okay.
Your defense system is probably gonna say, "Well, this is alien. I'm not gonna allow it."
Okay. Okay. Because anything foreign you put in your body has to kind of adjust to it or attack it, right?
Right. Well, that's what your defense system is all about, and
Okay.
that's what your body. That's what your whole immune system is designed to protect you. So you
Mhm.
put collagen or any other material in there that it doesn't like, it'll try to seal it off.
Right. Well, I think it's so fascinating how the body works in the first place. It if first of all, if you take care of it, it'll take care of you. But there are times we have difficult situations with our bodies or circumstances with our bodies. Like me being a cancer survivor, I have people all the time, make different comments. I asked for it. I was cursed. It's a family curse. It's a problem. And I listen to these things, and it's like sometimes it's just in your genes. Sometimes it's passed down, and it's just one of those things you have to fight. So I want to give some encouraging words to someone that is listening, and someone that just, wow, now you're asking questions, or people that just want to hear something. So we're going to close out in a minute. Warren, why don't you give them some encouraging words, and then I'll follow up, and then we're going to wish everyone a happy new year and a prosperous 2022 and a healthy 2022. What do you want to tell the people, Warren?
Okay, my whole thing is I try to not I to me if I can isolate what the disease is or what is it, I will try to defeat it. I'm
Mhm.
82 years old. I'll be 83 in August. My whole desire was to be able to be 82 or 83.
Yeah.
I'm probably the last one standing in my group. Many of it
Yeah.
passed. Once after you're 65 years old, they call it natural causes. So we know that the government is not what's going to protect you after you're 65 years old or older. They're going to identify it as natural causes, and that's it. When you know it's not, it could have been anything that we talked about, like lead in the pipes or arsenic in the chicken or glyphosate in the carbohydrates you take. It's all out there. So, but it's the government, everybody knows, not everybody, I'm sorry, they know that these things are cumulative. Like
Mhm.
lead is cumulative. You can't get rid of it. So it's going to be in your body until it kills you. But it probably won't do that until you're older, till you're aged. So that's
Wow.
my thing. You really have to start understanding what you're putting in your body, all the way down to whatever's on the ingredient statement, whatever chemicals, whatever substances. Try to find out what you're putting in your body. Keep a log. The log
Mhm.
is the most efficient thing that you can do. So at least you know what you're eating. If you do get some sort of uh, uh, disease or illness, you'll be able to go to talk to your doctor in the 15 minutes that you're going to have a chance to talk to him about. At least tell him what you think is the problem, that it might be something that you consumed.
Wow. There's so many things we have to fight now. There's so many things we have to be careful of, cautious. Um, they send out notices about the children, making sure we keep the children at home and isolated and protected, and wipe their hands, and wear a mask, and don't have them around other children and other adults that you think may be sick. And I was sitting here thinking, just when we thought it was safe to go back in the water, here we go again. And
Well,
with
I think
David,
that's the way it is. That's life
yeah,
now.
yeah, that
You
is our
know, and
life
I don't think
now.
fighting is telling your doctor I'm sick and then going home and not doing anything yourself.
Yeah,
I think you can, unless you, I think society requires you to do as much research as you possibly can.
yeah,
If you're on a phone, a phone that has all this technology, all this
mhm,
everything, period. There's no reason why your doctor should know more about your body than you when you can.
right,
It's you. You know what you're putting in it. You know what your habits are. There's
right,
no way he can analyze the little bit of data that you give him when you go to be treated. There's no way.
right. I mean, you only see him for 15 minutes, so he can't know
Hmm.
everything and see
I looked at
everything,
my
right?
cancer and I say, I see a doc. I see my doctor maybe 2 hours total a year, and I have
Yeah,
cancer.
yeah,
So I mean,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you know that and he's probably seeing hundreds of people.
yeah,
So it's up to you to fight. You're not fighting if you're saying, "Here's my problem," and then go home.
yeah,
That's You're not fighting at all. You're giving him the fight. Your fight is to learn whatever you got to learn and do whatever you got to do. That's your situation. Now he's your support system, but he's not the one doing the fighting because he's gonna go home, watch some TV, and read a book. you're going to worry about what's happening to you.
Well, we're getting some questions, but guys, we weren't coming on here long. We were just gonna come on and say hi and make sure we said thank you to all our sponsors and everyone that supported us and watched over us and shared and talked about and prayed and gave us suggestions. We just want to thank everyone and to remind everyone that the world we live in is the world we live in, and it's bound to change again. So we thank you. I'm Victorianne Russell Walton with IITG Season Sister Speak. I got my man Warren Green with me. Thank you, Miss Garla, for always allowing him the opportunity to come on here because, we both have spouses and we take away time to do this, but we're just not on here for an hour. We're on here many a times before the show happens to discuss speakers and topics and things like that. So we appreciate our spouses and family support. Everyone, behold, be kind to each other. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Stop fighting with each other and enjoy life. If someone's wronged you, forgive them. If someone is talking about you, ignore them. If someone has hurt you, like my mother used to say, charge it to their head and not their hearts. Everybody's going through something right now. So we've got to be a little more kinder to each other and a little more understanding. I know for a fact I miss gathering with my family. We weren't able to get together this year, Thanksgiving, like we normally do. Christmas looked different. I'm pretty sure next year Easter is going to look different. And as soon as we can get together, we will. But until then, there's Zoom. And until then, there's phone calls. So check up on each other. Make sure everybody's doing okay. Check on your elderly neighbors and, tap on the window and just wave at them and have a conversation through the window with them. I find that it brings a smile to everyone's face. And again, like Warren and I talked about, this too shall pass and something else will probably happen. So be prepared. But the main thing is be prepared and be kind, okay? And be a little more loving. And as we go into 2022, just understand that this too shall pass and that we're all we have. So again, be kind, forgive, move on, and wear your mask. So this is Victorianne Russell Walton with Warren Green. Thanking you for tuning in for 2021, another successful year. We wish everyone well. Everyone be blessed. And we will see you next week for our first show for 2022. And today our last show for 2021. Like my daddy used to say, the day we've never seen before, we'll never see this day again. So we thank you for all of your support. Thank you, Warren Green. I appreciate you. You keep saying you're 82, but you look fabulous.
Thank you.
I'm 56, and I'm trying to grow up to be like you. So thank you again, Warren, and everyone. Be blessed and be whole. And again, wear your mask. Cut it out already. So we'll see you next year. I love saying that. We'll see you next year, Warren.
Okay. Everybody stay
Bye.
healthy, stay well.
You heard him. Stay healthy, stay well, and be kind. So thank you, Warren. Take care of yourself.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Thank you for all of your support. IITG Season Sister Speak out for 2021, aka Maryland's Big Diva. We'll check on you. Bye.